Welcome back to 31 Days of Oscar here on TCM. I'm Dave Karger. For the final week of our month-long Oscar celebration, we're presenting an ongoing lineup of winners and nominees in the Best Picture category. Up next is the winner from 1934, It Happened One Night. This was one of those happy accidents like Casablanca, where nobody expected much of it while the film was being made, but everything came together perfectly to create something truly special. It Happened One Night was produced by Columbia Pictures, a minor studio at the time that was struggling to break away from its Poverty Row roots and compete with the likes of MGM and Warner Brothers. But Columbia had one ace up its sleeve in the form of director Frank Capra. Capra took a risk on a short story called Night Bus that had been rejected by other studios, and working with his frequent collaborator, screenwriter Robert Riskin, he adapted it as a comedy that was retitled It Happened One Night. The story begins when a spoiled heiress, played by Claudette Colbert, runs away from her domineering father because he doesn't approve of the man she wants to marry. But her life of luxury hasn't equipped her for life on the road, and she only manages to get by with the help of an arrogant newspaper reporter, played by Clark Gable. Frank Capra believed in the project, but the same could not be said of his two stars. Gable was loaned out to Columbia to make the film as punishment for defying MGM studio boss Louis B. Mayer. And when filming ended, Claudette Colbert told her friends, "I've just finished the worst picture in the world." That she turned out to be wrong is an understatement. The movie went on to win the Academy Award as the year's Best Picture, and it also took home Oscars for Frank Capra as Best Director, for Robert Riskin's screenplay, and for Gable and Colbert as Best Actor and Actress. It also became one of the first films to define the genre of screwball comedy, and it single-handedly elevated Columbia Pictures out of the minor leagues for good. From 1934, here is It Happened One Night. It Happened One Night was a huge hit that went on to win all 5 of the top Academy Awards: Best Picture, Director, Screenplay, Actor, and Actress. That was the first time any movie had made that kind of sweep, and only 2 films have done it since: One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest and The Silence of the Lambs. In addition to It Happened One Night, Claudette Colbert also starred in 2 other Best Picture nominees in 1934, Cecil B. DeMille's Cleopatra and Imitation of Life from Universal Pictures. But despite her powerful presence in 3 of the Best Picture contenders, Colbert didn't think she would win the Best Actress Oscar. In fact, she was so sure she wouldn't win that she ditched the ceremony and was boarding a train to New York when Academy officials found her and told her that her name had been announced as the winner. The train was held at the station long enough for Colbert to rush to the ceremony and accept her award. Up next, Greer Garson gives an Oscar-winning performance in the Best Picture winner of 1942.
Next on TCM, Mrs. Miniver, then Cavalcade, and later Grand Hotel. Oscars booked a room with TCM tonight.